Command Performance USA, the greatest entertainers in America, is requested by you, the servicemen and women of the United States Armed Forces throughout the world. Introducing your master of ceremonies for this session is kind of a tough job because, well, he's such a stranger to Command Performance. In fact, he hasn't been on the show since an hour before he left for the South Pacific. It's Bob Hope.
Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bob. That wasn't my scotch that fell out of the plane Hope. But I really had a wonderful trip. Wherever I went, the soldiers toasted me, and now I'm back. A guy can stand getting hot foots for just so long, you know. You know, the weather down there is like it is here. Of course, they have a light sprinkle now and then. Light sprinkle, that's South Pacific. For man the boats, boys, the island disappeared again. But I was glad to get back and see that Hollywood hasn't changed much. Slacks are still the rage. You can see everything in slacks, except slack. And I understand that Crosby just went to England. That's silly. I thought London had all the fog it needed. You know why Crosby went over, of course. The Army finally decided to have some entertainment for the older servicemen. Thought they'd send Sinatra's dad over. But I just heard from the old groaner, and he's a little worried. It seems he heard a rumor that the Germans have invented a jet-propelled stork. But you know, one of the most heartening facts I picked up on my GI jaunt was that two of my favorite gals here in Hollywood are fast becoming your favorite overseas. A lot of you guys who have seen Two Girls and a Sailor have written us requesting the Mrs. June Allison and Gloria dehaven. Isn't that beautiful? I want to tell, ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like you to meet a member of our troupe that has just returned from the South Pacific, a man who's been all over, a famous world traveler, Professor Colonna, right here. Oh, there he is. Say, Professor, we'd like to put on your experience as a world traveler. That Pacific trip, was it, Colonna?
Oh, no, I've been to England, Australia, Africa, and Alaska.
You've been to England, Russia, Australia, Africa, and Alaska?
Yes. I'll get one of your checks cashed yet.
Well, Professor, you certainly are living proof that man is only a few steps ahead of monkey.
Well, walk fast. I'll wait for you. I don't know if I told you this or not, Hope, but I'm planning another big trip. You see, I'm going to visit the icebox, the oven, and the pantry.
Icebox, oven, and pantry? What kind of a big trip is that?
Cook's tour.
You know, Colonna, one thing puzzled me on our trip. You never worried about us coming down in the ocean. There's an awful lot of water out there, you know.
Oh, I don't worry about that, Hope. I can hold my breath for 3 hours.
You can hold your breath for 3 hours? That's ridiculous.
Oh, it is, eh?
Yes, it is. Nobody can hold his breath for 3 hours.
Well, watch. I'll prove to you right now.
Say, fellas, while the professor's holding his breath, I'd like to say something that I think is pretty important. When the Army decides to bust you back to civilian life, you're going to need and want a lot of things that cost money. You won't be able to get by like Colonna does just by holding your breath. No, the new clothes you'll want to start in business, getting married. Incidentally, the professor's getting red in the face. Well, There are things to start saving for now. A good deal is GI bonds or soldiers' deposits. So think it over. Save a little each payday. Professor, how are you doing?
Where does a guy go for a retread?
That's fine. Fellas, here's some really supernatural digit manipulating that ought to leave you swinging from the closest cloud by your thumbs. You'll probably catch her in the MGM sensation Bathing Beauty. It seems that this young lady toured the South American continent, discovered and brought back with a little song called Tico Tico. English translation, when the bees start making honey, I'll come home and have the hives with you. Regardless, I want you to meet one of the most talented artists ever to appear in command performance, assisted by the AFRS Orchestra, Miss Ethel Smith. A lot of talent for just plain Smith, you know. But then it's always a pleasure to introduce your next guest, a lovely young lady who spent so much time with you GIs all over the world. She's practically standard equipment, one of your all-time favorites, Frances Langford.
Embrace me, my sweet embraceable you. Embrace me, my irreplaceable you. Just one look at you, my heart grew tipsy in me. You and you alone bring all the gypsy in me. I love all the many charms about you. Above all, I want my arms about you. Don't be a naughty baby. Come to your mama, do. My sweet embraceable
Well, men, it looks like that does it for this session. And speaking for the gang with us tonight, for all the guys and gals who come down here to command performance every week, I want you to know we consider it a privilege to knock out these programs and try to make life just a little brighter for you. I've talked to lots of you guys in the field, and I gather that the Armed Forces radio shows mean a lot to you. Believe me, they mean a lot to us performers, too. So just keep your requests coming by letter, postcard, V-mail, or put a note in a bottle and drop it overboard. We'll get it somehow and shoot your requests right back. If you haven't got time to write, stick your thumbprint on a friend's letter so we'll know you're all thinking of us, will you? Good night, gang.